Hello there, you're welcome to my channel. This is Everwood View. I hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful evening or morning, wherever you are in the globe. Thank you for stopping by the channel to watch our videos. You're highly appreciated. This is my second video that I'm actually make to just share my thought, just to express my own, do I say, sadness in the sense of the death of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I just felt like, oh, let me look for something that is done recently that I could just post in a way. And I found this particular interview that he had, and they actually did this interview together, his co-host on their podcast, and it was such a wonderful discussion, you know, such intelligent adventure they were actually taking on. And the title of the podcast was Not All Hood, Not All Hood. And according to them, they've posted a few, and I'm going to look out for them. They have it on YouTube, wherever it is. I'm gonna I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna watch it. It was just such a good vision that they have. I can't even imagine these people that I had just worked with in the last few months or so, and they're putting all this together, working together, doing their podcast together. I can't even imagine how those people feel right now, you know? He had a vision, and he had people that they collaborated to just go out there and do this to help people. And on this video, you hear him talk about he's gained so much wisdom with time, and he feel he need to share those wisdom with other people, with the younger people. Younger than he is, and also to be able to be a blessing to those people, you know, those who are young, the younger people, and also being able to encourage them, bridge the gap between the other word and the younger one. And he wasn't going to just wait to give that wisdom to his daughter. He should share with other people first, because his daughter is still young yet. She's I think about 8 years old or so. I'm just thinking, the people, the co-hosts, and all of them are just gonna be so crushed at this moment. I'm gonna play the video for you. Just look at it and listen to it, watch it, and just take time to leave a word of prayer for the family. I think that's what they need right now. The mom, the wife, the daughter, the close friends, even those who are out there that are just, oh my word, it's just so sad to lose someone with so much wisdom. He said he has so many years ahead of him to be able to pour out and be a blessing to people with all the wisdom he has gained over the years and through experiences and all other ways that he gained his wisdom. But he's done well. He's done so many things over the years. He's used his talent and gifts well. He tapped into every opportunity, I believe, or every gift that he that expressed himself through him. He used it, and he did it well. He's going to be missed greatly. So,
along with podcast co-host, award-winning journalist Candace Kelly. So great to meet both of you guys.
Hey, good to see you.
So a podcast.
Yeah.
You needed another venue to have You're going to just take over all mediums. The name, Not All Hood.
Yes. Well, actually, Not All Hood, was the name came from our third host, Wayusi Baraka, and the reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life or Black culture that the media focuses on, and
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes, because they're so varied in terms of our perspectives and our opinions and our ways of life, and we wanted to be able to have a place where we can talk about all of those things, discuss all of those things, and shed light on the not all hood aspects of who we are.
All right. And Candace, look, you do this a lot.
Yeah.
You got a lot to say.
I do.
Oh, she got you.
But for a podcast, that's a good thing.
Right. For the
Why
time.
do you want to be a part of this?
You know what? When we first started talking, we talked about it not even with my involvement being on air. Just my involvement in the project was just an interesting part of the whole thing. But then we got in a conversation for about, 60, 90 minutes, all of us. And then we thought, you know what? This is really coming. Well, I guess y'all said that after you got off the phone, and said maybe she should join us. Yeah. And especially, since I do like to talk about different subjects and have been for so long, and certainly he has too. And so that's really how it came together. And we just talked really about kind of this master narrative that exists out there, that when we tell our stories and share our stories, we can really counter by just really sitting down and talking about our experiences. But there is one area that we chose to focus on, and that was being Black in America. So even if you were Jamaican or Ghanaian, when you come to America and people see you as they see you, there's a thread. And so that was important that we're talking about experiences in America, because abroad it's totally different. So that's how we really came up with this whole concept of people just being able to share openly and to see where we land, and hope that there's enough discussion and counter discussion to make sure everybody's voices are heard, because there are so many, because we're not all a monolith.
And who are you? What's your audience? Who do you want to be your audience? Do you feel like you're talking primarily to other Black people because they recognize the experience, whatever it is? Or do you feel like there are other people that need to be listening to this conversation so they get past thinking, well, they're Black, so they must think alike, they must live alike?
Right. Yeah, so it's kind of it's twofold. Inspired. I'm constantly inspired by Henry Louis Gates' quote: "There are 42 million Black people in America, therefore there are 42 ways of being Black." I think it's 47 now.
Yeah, it's 47 now. Right.
47.9 now. So for me, I don't think we have ever really talked about their target audience. But for me, it's Black people first and foremost. And non-Blacks, are welcome to listen, and it's definitely an education for them as well. But for me, it's first and foremost for us as the Black community to remember, to acknowledge, to respect the different layers and different lanes of the Black community that really may not even may not be our vibe. There's this idea that we should all get along, right? So this podcast is not for the three of us to get along. It's not for us to agree with everything.
That's true.
Yeah, right?
That's true.
Yeah. It's a place where I keep referring to. It's a place for civil discourse and respectful challenging of ideas and perspectives,
which everybody these days kind of needs a lesson.
Right. The civil part, especially, right?
And for us, again, it's for us because there's there's classism, there's racism within our own community. So this is a space, a safe space, where we can again acknowledge and talk about all things that pertain to Black community and Black culture.
You know, you guys jumped right into it with the conversation about the N-word.
Yeah, we did.
And that wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't
not
planned.
Yeah, it just came. And a lot of the podcast comes from, germinates from just our Zoom conversation. Like we have weekly Zoom calls that are supposed to last an hour, and hour and a half, 2.5 hours later, we're still talking.
Right.
So the podcast is also kind of an extension of that, because it's really us having organic conversations.
Yeah, and that's really key. And this is something that people will find themselves in because they're at home too, or they're at the office or wherever, talking about, well, they're not at the office talking about a few of these things, but they are talking about these things. They're going to find this is very organic, and that's what we wanted. Something very organic where we might kind of know what we want the topic to be about going into it, but if it changes, that's okay. You know, it doesn't have to be a necessary beginning, middle, and an end, but just a thought-provoking conversation.
Well, that's how a conversation is supposed to
That's
go.
right, with the purpose.
You follow it, you go where it takes you. Why was talking about the N-word, the use of it? Who should be using it? Should it even be used? Why is it still around? Why was that something you thought, you know what, that's a conversation worth having?
Because it comes up. It comes up. Even amongst us, it comes up. We've been talking about it today. We talked about it yesterday in the
but you know,
car.
a lot of it comes up in the context of music. And then that transitions into, specifically different types of arts. But the music and hip hop and things of that nature, people treat very separately from, I always use the example of an August Wilson play where the N-word is used. And then how do we look at it in those particular contexts, and how do we look at it outside of that context too? And then that's where we really get into the conversation. And it's nice because, as he said, while we all have different opinions about it, we're all very respectful. But I think that people, when they look at it, they'll find themselves in it because they're going to fall somewhere on the spectrum with the N-word, because we all come to the table, everybody comes to the table with their story about the N-word, where it began, how they feel about it now, and just in the context in which we live in 2024. So.
And even hip-hop itself. I mean, look, I think we're all astonished at what it has become.
Yes.
But there are some aspects of it that I think various people question. And so that is worth a conversation, because you understand, you have to talk about, the value of this or that. So is that something that you have talked? I mean, is that in a lot of ways, you're not just talking about Black life, but you're also challenging us.
Yes.
As
very much
people,
so.
in a way.
Very much so.
And is that something you thought about when you sat down and said, we're going to do this, that, yes, we want to get this out here because we do want all these various facets of our community to get light shown on them. But there are times when we need to be challenged. Is that?
Yes.
When I say challenged, I mean, the challenge may be just actually getting us to talk about it.
Now that is
to be
true.
Honest about it and to feel comfortable enough.
Right.
Because maybe there are people that have a problem talking about something, but listening to you discuss it, all of a sudden it seems like, maybe I do have something to say on that, and I'm not exposing myself too much.
Yeah, I think a lot of at least feedback that we're getting so far is especially because the section on the N-word has gone viral on social media. A lot of people are owning up to kind of checking themselves on how much they may use the word. But in terms of in terms of challenging perspectives and challenging ideas, very much so. Like, it even happens with me. Like, I can be very opinionated. Right.
No.
And I'm very strong in my opinion. But then Candace will say something that, even though it may not change my opinion, it opens up my perspective. It gives me more of an expanded perspective, and go, oh, okay, you know what? That's fair. So that it helps me. I think for me, I get challenged in ways that it helps me let go of judgments that I may have that I wouldn't have necessarily owned up to. or been conscious of, if that makes sense.
And I would change out the word with validate too a little bit. I think that some people will find, okay, well, some of these things that I've at least been thinking about, or that have been bothering me, or that I just wanted to talk about, I feel validated now, and that there's a place and a space where someone else is talking about it, and I can find myself in that conversation
and not feel judged.
That's right, and not feel judged at all.
Yeah.
One of the things I was reading, Malcolm, is that you have, and I can understand it considering that you've sort of been in the public eye since you were very young. Mm-hmm. So I would think at some point you kind of want to have something for yourself that you're not having to share with everybody. So have you found it easier to be more vulnerable with the podcast and perhaps in some other manner to be more open about sharing personal things? Is that
I think it's kind of a byproduct of doing the podcast, right? So I'm very, I'm pretty, I have a private life. I'm pretty adamant about keeping my private life private, but at the same time, I'm also pretty transparent in terms of my music, my poetry, my perspectives. This show, with the podcast, there's a little bit more vulnerability there because I'm not prepping. Like it's not poetry that I've already written. We don't have questions already written out, so I don't have any answers prepped. And in some ways, because we're going off the cuff and I'm just expressing myself, there are some things that come out that might be surprising for people, but even surprising for me, that I'm actually sharing this. And I think the thing with the N-word.
look, you've done a little bit of everything. You got a Grammy. You've got another album nominated for a Grammy. I love this grin. That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that the work you've done in the past, I mean, from obviously the acting, the roles you played, the music, you are not afraid to step out there and lead with, what's important to you and your feelings. How did that prepare you for this? And do you think that work made this an easier gig for you? That it was sort of the next iteration of what you had to offer. I mean, I think that you've offering what's important to you, what you think about in your music,
right.
And now podcasting. You're actually telling people what you feel and what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an extension of what I've been doing, and like I said, this way, because even with the poetry, there is some structure there, but to do the podcast again, where it's unrehearsed, I haven't thought a whole lot about what it is I'm going to say, but I also feel like I'm also at an age where I still have some things that are worthwhile. There is some, dare I say, wisdom that I have kind of accumulated, throughout this time. And I also feel like, when we talk about generation, we talk about like generation gap. We were having a conversation yesterday, and I was saying how, we're at the age where we're still the bridge. Between the generation gap, there are young people.
I think I'm on the other side of the bridge.
I don't know.
Thank you for including me.
We're still there, but we have access to elders that our young people don't, and we have the ear to young people that our elders don't. So there's also, I think, for me, being in my 50s now. I've always felt a responsibility for social awareness, and I feel like this is really just an extension of that. There's a responsibility that I feel that, all of this stuff that I have learned all these years, I can't just keep it to myself. I can't just hold it for myself. I can't hold it just for my daughter and nephews. I feel like there's information, there's perspectives, there's wisdom and experiences that I have to share, and I guess I feel kind of a responsibility to that, especially as we're combating. There's so much that we're combating in terms of images, in terms of what young people are being flooded with. So I think that's the other thing that makes me, feel like, I have to.
You feel a responsibility.
Yeah.
Because you have the means and the wherewithal to do something and say something, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And unencumbered by a company who was financing my art.
Right.
So there aren't higher ups that I have to listen to who dictate to me what I'm going to say.
You realize that there are a lot of people in the country that look at you and go, Theo Huxtable.
Yeah.
Seriously, do you still? I mean, do you feel the pressure of that sometimes? It's a blessing.
Sure, not at all.
But I just wonder, because all I think about is Theo trying to figure out how he's going to support himself in an apartment.
Sure,
He didn't want to work because he just wanted to be a great person.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just such a cute episode.
And that's actually one of my favorite. But I'm real quick to correct people. It's Malcolm, it's not Theo. And I was even doing that back then because I was very clear that Theo was not going to be the end all be all. The concept at 16 years old that this is the height of my career was not a thought that excited me. So my sights had always been life after Cosby. My perspective on success, because people would misconstrue the popularity of the Cosby Show as my being successful as a teenager, and I was always very clear that success for me, it wouldn't be until I was 40, 50, 60 years old, still working consistently as an actor, as a director, that I could look back and say I've had a successful career. So now in my 50s, I'm embracing oh, wow. Yeah, I have had a successful career.
I would say you've done quite well.
But there's still a lot of, life left. And there's still bills that have to be paid. And a daughter that has to be raised. So it's been a great journey. And I'm excited about the journey ahead as well.
And leaving a mark and helping other people. I think that you just raised an interesting question that might make it interesting topic. What is success? How do you define? There's so many versions of it. Because I got a nephew that keeps telling me success to him is he's trying to figure out how he can make some money online. He doesn't really actually want to have a job. He just wants somebody to pay him to wear their clothes. I'm like, that is, it's a fantasy.
Right.
Or it's the American way.
To find a way. Listen, we've talked about social media and young people and how it transitions from social media into the real world because the two are this far apart. You have to find a happy medium. It's interesting that you would bring that up. I would just say though quickly, success, and this is what we've talked about too. We talked about joy. Success is really if you happy in my own space.
Exactly.
And really being able to decide for myself what's next for me. And as a part of the show, to just connect it to that we often talk about the Black experience inside of Black trauma and something very heavy. But we have a good time. We also want to share that, what, we don't always have to be in the downtrodden. That we are a happy people and have gone through because of and in spite of, and have done it as amazing, great warriors and happy on the other side. And that's what my days often feel like, and I'm sure yours too. Sometimes it's interrupted though when I'm turn on the news or somebody questions me or something.
Now you're blaming me.
Sorry. But so it's finding that all that joy within that too. That's really beautifully successful when I think about just the history of my people, to be here in this space and to be happy and to be deciding, to be autonomous. That's lovely.
You were so smart. You got her.
See, I told you. So I love doing these interviews with Candace because then people,
it makes you look really smart.
Because I figure people look at me and they know that integrity. I lead with integrity. So I think people know anything that I'm involved with. There's going to have integrity there. But when Candace talks, people go, "Oh, this is going to be a smart show," right?
No,
It's
that's
gonna
true.
be
You have no
hard,
money.
too.
I think that you all bring your individual gifts to the table.
Yeah.
Yes,
And it
yes.
it sounds like it's a smart fun. And what I heard of the N-word discussion, it was smart fun
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. It was
Where
fun.
can we find you? Really, everywhere that you listen to, you're on YouTube, right?
YouTube,
Yes.
Spotify,
And wherever
Apple.
you listen to your podcast.
Yes.
On
Yes.
YouTube, we can actually see
See
you.
us, yes.
Yes,
So it's
you
kind of
can.
good looking to look at.
Oh, well, thank you. All right.
Not All Hood
Yes.
is the podcast. It really does sound like an interesting conversation. It's such a pleasure to talk with both of you.
Thank you.
Good to
Thank
speak
for
with you,
having us.
too.
You want to come back? Just call Tracy and go, "Wait, I'm coming."
All right.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
I won't be tomorrow. No. I will be working though. We will be right back.
Hey, I have no word to say. I just don't have no word to say. I hope you get some wisdom from what you've listened to, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe, like, share, click notification button, so when we have videos and upload videos, and you will be able to be allowed to that way something for you to watch and just gain some wisdom as well. Thank you so much. This is a hard video to do, but thank you. Bye-bye.